Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf for IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Matrix Labs, the video number 84. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have finished troubleshooting group policies through the GPO ZOR report, which is a very useful report to troubleshoot group policies and make some useful inventory reports concerning the group policies. For example, you can, through the GPO ZOR, make an inventory of the group policies that are linked to all of your OUs in your domain. You can make another report for the permissions on the group policies, a third report for the owners of the group policies. A lot of things actually you can do using this report. You can troubleshoot some of the most famous group policy problems. You can inventory the group policies also using this report. So we have finished talking about the GPO ZOR report and how we can benefit from it, from troubleshooting our Active Directory group policies and making inventory of our group policies, as we have said before. Today we will discuss another topic which is not far from the objective or the main focus of this series. We are focusing on troubleshooting. One of the most important tools to troubleshoot problems concerning the Active Directory or concerning the operating system that the Active Directory is installed on, it is the Event Viewer program. The Event Viewer program, it is a program through it you can see the recorded events concerning the operating system. Okay, this is like the black box in an airplane. It uh, through the event viewer you can see all of the recorded events concerning your operating system: successful events, unsuccessful events, warnings, critical errors, all or everything related to the events that has run on the operating system. Okay, not only the operating system, the applications installed on the operating system, uh, the security events concerning this operating system, who has logged into the machine, who has created an object on the machine. So it is very useful to troubleshoot different issues, troubleshoot applications on the operating system, troubleshooting the operating system itself, making some security audit if you need to know who has logged in at what time and what he was doing. All of this can be uh, uh, explored through the event viewer. So we need to study the event viewer as a tool for troubleshooting. We need to see how it is very useful to use it to troubleshoot different problems concerning the operating system. And one of the main applications installed on our operating system in our lab, it is the Active Directory. So let's see how we can use the event viewer. First we need to uh, 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 see the components of the event viewer and then use it as a tool to troubleshoot problems. How we will discuss that, I am taking this video as a reference for my explanation. It is the video called Windows Event and Logging Demystified IT Admin Edition. This is from the Tech Savvy Production channel. Okay, and this is the video. I will use it as a reference, and I will use also some other things that are attached to this video. Some of them are PDFs that contains a lot of theoretical information concerning the event viewer. We will see that and we will see how it is very useful, and we will use also some PowerPoint slides to explain this topic. So our main reference is the video, and the video is explained in these slides. Okay, and additional information, it is also included in this PDF, okay, which contains a lot of useful information, theoretical and practical information. So let's go and begin uh, discussing this issue today, the event viewer. Okay, if we go to the PowerPoint slide, first, this is called event viewer tools for the IT pros. The first thing we need to know, how is the Windows logging architecture or event viewer or something called event tracing Windows or tracing Windows log. Okay, I think let me see the exact terms. ETW refers for event tracing for Windows. We need to know how is the events recorded and captured. First of all, we have providers. These providers are like small programs or DLL files that are responsible for capturing events and recording them, okay, in the event viewer. Okay, how this is done, basically this is the event providers. They uh, take the events and through something called controller, they take it and record it in a file or to display it in a real-time consumer event, something like Windows Analyzer or something like a live program to see the event live or to record it in a file. We will see each one of these components, but this is basically the simple structure of Windows logging. You have some DLL files that its main function is to capture events concerning different components of the operating system or applications in the operating system. They are uh, 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 this data, it is ordered by the controller, and then the controller take it and record it in real time event consumer or to an ETL file. Okay, so this is basically the structure. If we need to have more details, we will go to this PDF. This is already, you can download it from the video or the attachment in the video. This is the PDF. It's downloaded from Google Drive, and we can see here I have opened the page number 42 concerning event tracing for Windows. Okay, the event tracing for Windows infrastructure provides the foundation for Windows Performance Analyzer. Okay, WPA provides a set of programs that hide the complexity of working directly with the ETU application programming interface. We will see how the AI tools will explain such complex technical terms, but we need to read it first. And then we can see some of the things here. There are several Microsoft tools available for viewing and phrasing ETL log files. Just an info, you have two kinds of files relating or that are recorded and saved in the event viewer. Some events are with the extension of ETL, and we will know later this is for tracing logs, and another extension for the event logs which was called EVTX, which are normal logs for normal operations. Okay, there is trace logs and there is event logs. We have two types of logs. Trace log, these logs have extension of ETL, and event logs, their extension is EVTX. The trace logs are primarily for debugging or for developers, and the event logs are for different events like security events or system events. It contains less information than the trace logs, and they are basically focusing on security events, for example, or system events. The trace logs are basically for developers deep in the programming or to troubleshoot codings or something. Let's see how we can view these events. You can use Windows Event Viewer, which our main focus today. We have Microsoft Message Analyzer, best for decoding or for trace logs. Trace View, Trace FMT, SV Trace View, Netmon, Perfmon, and we will see other programs also we can use to see the events concerning your operating system, even ETL events or ETL files or EVTX. Event trace sessions that are configured to be circular overwrite all events with new events when the max file buffer size is reached. The old events were overwritten and not recoverable. This is one way to record events. Events are recorded in the event viewer in certain situations, or they are recorded and they are kept, or the retention period. There is different options for the retention period of the event files. Something called circular, the old events are written by new events when the log size reach its maximum, or something called archive when the maximum log size, or when the log size maximum is reached, or the maximum log size is reached. They archive the file, close completely the file, and create a new file and begin writing events to it until it reaches the maximum size, and then archive it. This is the second thing. So we have circular, writing old events with new events, archive, writing the events, and when reach a certain size, it close it and open a new file and begin writing new events. And the last one is uh, manual write. You open a file and write files, write events to it until it reaches the maximum size, and you should delete them manually. Okay, if you didn't do that, you will not record any events. We will see that in a moment, don't worry. But here, this is something concerning the options of retention for the event files. Here we can see that, let me give you a little bit of something here. We can see here that this is the thing that we are trying to talk about. Here we have controllers, start and stop an event tracing session and enable providers. We have providers, okay, it's talking about return specific events. Consumers, these are analyze the data returned by providers, which is the event viewer. Okay, we will see that. I will see the AI tools explaining this diagram in specific. I just want to give you the explanation from the PDF itself, and then we will try to use AI tools to explain something like that. So for example, here I have asked uh, Perplexity to explain ETW, or event tracing for Windows, and try to explain it in a simple terms. Let's see how this was the answer of Perplexity, and then we will ask ChatGPT, and then we will ask Claude the same question. So let's see what was the answer of Perplexity concerning the event uh, uh, tracing of Windows infrastructure, okay, or the event tracing in Windows. Okay.
Event tracing for Windows, EDW, is a powerful and efficient logging mechanism built into the Windows operating system, designed to facilitate the tracing of events generated by both user mode applications and kernel mode drivers. It serves as a critical tool for performance monitoring, debugging, and security logging. Key components of ETW. ETW is structured around four main components: providers. Definition. Providers are the entities responsible for generating events. They can be user mode applications, kernel mode drivers, or even the Windows kernel itself. Functionality. Each provider is identified by a unique GUID and can emit events that include various types of data, such as timestamps and process identifiers. Tracing sessions. Definition. A tracing session acts as a container that collects events from one or more providers. Functionality. Sessions buffer the events generated by providers and can be configured to store this data in real time or save it to a file for later analysis. Controllers. Definition. Controllers manage the life cycle of tracing sessions. They are responsible for starting, stopping, and configuring sessions. Functionality. Common tools used as controllers include Windows Performance Recorder, WPR, and Logman.exe, which allow users to enable or disable providers dynamically. Consumers. Definition. Consumers are applications that read and analyze the event data produced by providers through tracing sessions. Functionality. They can process the data in real time or from saved logs, ETL files, enabling in-depth analysis of system performance and behavior. How ETW works. The ETW architecture allows for non-invasive monitoring of system and application activities. Here's how it typically functions. Registration. A provider registers with ETW to begin emitting events. Session creation. A controller creates a tracing session that specifies which providers to monitor. Event generation. The provider generates events based on specific actions or occurrences within the application or system. Data capture. Events are captured by the tracing session and stored in memory buffers or written directly to an ETL file. Consumption. Consumers access the event data for analysis, which can help identify performance issues or security incidents without requiring system restarts. Advantages of ETW. ETW offers several key benefits. Efficiency. It operates with minimal overhead, allowing for high-performance logging without significantly impacting system resources. Dynamic control. Users can enable or disable event tracing at any time without needing to restart applications or the operating system. Rich data capture. ETW provides detailed information about system operations, including kernel events that impact overall performance. This level of detail surpasses traditional logging mechanisms. Real-time monitoring. ETW supports real-time event collection, enabling immediate analysis of system behavior. Use cases. ETW is widely used for performance analysis. Developers utilize ETW to diagnose performance issues in applications by analyzing event traces. Security monitoring. Security professionals leverage ETW logs to detect suspicious activities and investigate potential breaches. Debugging applications. ETW assists developers in debugging their applications by providing insights into event flows and state changes during execution. ETW has become an essential tool in both development and operational environments within Windows, offering a robust framework for capturing and analyzing events across various components of the operating system.
So this is the ETW, or Event Tracing for Windows. This is the explanation. We have seen what is an event provider, what is a controller, what is an ETW session, okay, and how everything is recorded in an ETA file or to a real, or who is getting this data. Maybe it is saved to a file, or it is omitted to a software for real-time event monitoring. Okay, so we can see that this is a basic explanation by Perplexity. If we go to ChatGPT, let's see here what I have did. If we go further, or let me show you what I have did. Here I have already took the PDF, okay, and upload it to ChatGPT and tell him to analyze this PDF and wait for my questions, type confirm after deep analyzation, and then I begin asking him to explain from page 42 to 47, which is the whole content of the ETW in the PDF. So it is explained from page 42 to page 47. So I'm asking him to explain these pages as I am a junior IT and in a simple way. So I tell him to explain that like I am a junior IT administrator learning Active Directory, show how this concept works in AD, provide a real world scenario, and include common pitfalls to avoid. If we go and see the explanation, actually I asked Canavius to explain it, which is a tool in ChatGPT for all that can generate graphics and codes in a simple way, okay, or to help you to explain different topics. If we go and see that and try to read it, let me see if I can read it loudly. How we can do that? Is there a way to explain it or to read it? So let's read it loudly and see if it is a good explanation. Okay, we cannot read it, so what we need to do, we will take the whole thing and read it through here you go. Where is read it loud? I can't read it from here. Okay, translate to English. Okay, let's read it manually. Okay, let's see here what is the answer. Here, event logging and tracing in Active Directory, a guide for junior IT administrators, understanding event tracing for Windows. Event tracing for Windows is a powerful infrastructure used for logging and diagnosing system activities in Windows environment, including Active Directory AD. It provides a unified way to collect, store, and analyze event data from kernel applications and custom defined sources. Kernel, he's referring to the operating system, and custom defined sources, maybe you can tailor the event viewer to take or to collect events from certain customs applications or custom events. Key components of ETW: controllers initiate and control event tracing sessions. This is the controller. If you go there, here is talking about the controller. This is the one. So what is a controller? Initiate and control event tracing sessions. Here is the session. Okay, to collect data about authentication failures in AD, for example. This is one type of events. Who provides this information about authentication failures? Providers generate the events. Providers can include kernel events, application specific events, or AD specific events. So if you go to the diagram, the event providers collect data concerning authentication failures, for example, which is ordered or which is asked by the controller, okay, and it is collected in a session. So the controller will create a session, okay. uh, the controller will ask the providers to provide data concerning certain event, and it will be recorded and displayed through a session. Okay, this is the session, and a couple of things concerning the session: the size, the buffer size, minimum number, maximum number, flush time. So we can continue. We have the providers. Consumers analyze and interpret the event data. Tools like Event Viewer or third-party tools such as Microsoft Message Analyzer serve as consumers. How ETW works in Active Directory. In AD environment, ETW helps administrator monitor, troubleshoot issues related to authentication, not only for Active Directory, for any event in the operating system or applications installed on the operating system. Authentication, replication, and group policy application. Logs generated by ETW can be critical in tracking login events across the domain, diagnosing replication issues between domain controllers, monitor changes to AD objects and policies. ETW allows you to capture data dynamically without restarting services or affecting system performance significantly. Okay, real world scenario: tracking account lockouts. Imagine you are responsible for troubleshooting a recurring issue where user accounts are getting locked out unexpectedly. Here how you might use ETW. So we will go to a group policy and configure computer configuration, Windows settings, security setting, advanced audit policy configuration, audit policies, account management, enable audit account lockout for both successful and failure events. Then we can, after doing that and apply it to the server, or apply this group policy to the server workstation, we can go and begin a session or a capture session. Okay, use PowerShell to initiate a session capturing lockout events. Here, this is the command: logman start ad lookout trace -p Microsoft Windows security auditing, and the output will be an ETL file -ets. Then we can analyze the logs, but I think here we can change it to EVTX maybe, because this is for trace logs. Let me see something. If I got this is the command, we can use it to do that, but I think we can change it from ETL to EVTX. Okay, analyze the logs. Open the event viewer, Windows Log Security, filter for event 4740. So I think not ETL, it will be EVTX. Okay, this is the one. Okay, or you can see ETL files in this location anyway. So we will go and open the event viewer and see a user account logout. Okay, I think we don't need to do that. This is a manual way to initialize a capture event, or you can just apply the group policy and wait for the events to happen and then go directly and see the events recorded. You don't need to initialize a capture. Okay, this will be done automatically after applying the group policy. So let's continue and see. Check the caller computer name field to identify the source of the lockout. Resolve the issue. If lockouts are caused by outdated credentials saved on a machine, guide the user to update their password or delete the cached credentials. Sometimes the user is using cached credentials or outdated credentials. You need to refresh these cached credentials. Okay, common pitfalls: overlogging. Enable too many event providers or capturing excessive details can fill up disk space and overwhelm the logging infrastructure. Always filter logs to focus on relevant events. Not securing log files. Logs often contain sensitive information. Ensure that log files have restricted access and are stored in secure location. This is maybe exporting the logs, because the event viewer on the operating system, I think it's not that protected. Okay, anyway, so another thing is to collect or to send the logs to a log server, okay, and secure them from there, I think. Anyway, ignore logging retention policies. Logs can grow quickly. Implement retention policies to archive or delete all logs to prevent storage issues. Failure to interpret logs correctly. Misinterpretation of events, such as confusing illegitimate replication delay with a failure, can lead to unnecessary troubleshooting. Familiarize yourself with common event IDs and their meaning. Conclusion: ETW provides a robust mechanism for tracking and resolving issues in Active Directory. By leveraging event tracing efficiently, junior IT administrators can identify root causes of issues like account lockouts or replication failures. Practice using ETW in test environments, and always ensure proper logging configuration to maintain system performance and security. Okay, this seems to be a more simple explanation of the ETW, but still I think it's not that detailed. It is very generic. So if we go and ask Claude to explain this topic, let's see what will be the answer of Claude. I think it will be simple. Here I give him the same prompt: explain from page 42 to 47 of the content of PDF like I am a junior IT administrator learning Active Directory. Show how this concept works in Active Directory. Provide a real-world scenario and include common pitfalls to avoid. So let's see the answer of Claude. If I go further down, so let's see here the answer of Claude. Here you go. And let's see how we can read loud.
Environments, or should we explore some practical exercises to reinforce these concepts? Copy. Let me explain event tracing for Windows, ETW, in the context of Active Directory management, breaking it down in a way that's practical and relevant for your role. Think of EDW as a sophisticated security camera system for your Active Directory environment. Instead of recording video, it records detailed information about what's happening in your Windows systems in real time. Here's a real-world scenario to illustrate. Imagine you're managing a company's Active Directory environment, and users are complaining about intermittent login delays. Here's how EDW helps. The components in action. Controllers. You, as the admin, decide when to start and stop monitoring, like pressing record on a security camera. Providers. These are your cameras. They capture specific events like login attempts, group policy applications, or AD replication. Consumers. Your monitoring tools that analyze the captured data, like Event Viewer. Let's break down how you'd use this. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag example of enabling EDW monitoring for AD authentication issues WebTotal SL, Microsoft Windows Security Auditing /E. True WebTotal SL, Microsoft Windows Group Policy /operational /E. True. Real benefits. You can track the exact path of a login attempt through your domain controllers. See precisely where delays occur in the authentication chain. Identify if the issue is with specific domain controllers or affecting all of them. Common pitfalls to avoid. Overcollection. Don't enable tracing for everything. Why? This creates massive log files and can impact system performance. Instead, focus on specific areas you need to troubleshoot. Not setting size limits. Bad. Letting trace sessions run unbounded. Good. Configure circular logging with appropriate size limits. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag set a reasonable log size limit in bytes WebTotal SL Security/MS 1048576600. Missing important events. Bad. Using default buffer sizes that might drop events. Good. Adjust buffer sizes based on your environment. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag increase buffer size for busy domain controller slogman update trace, AD trace, BF1024, NB1616. Here's what makes ETW particularly valuable in AD environments. Performance impact analysis. Monitor how group policy processing affects login times. Track AD replication efficiency. Measure LDAP query response times. Security monitoring. Track privileged account usage. Monitor for unauthorized AD schema changes. Detect unusual authentication patterns. Troubleshooting capabilities. Follow the chain of events in authentication failures. Debug group policy application issues. Identify causes of replication delays. To get started effectively. First steps. Begin with focused monitoring of specific issues. Use predefined ETW sessions before creating custom ones. Start with smaller trace buffers and adjust as needed. Best practices. Document which traces you enable and why. Set up log rotation to manage storage. Create standard procedures for trace collection. Integration tips. Connect ETW data with your existing monitoring tools. Set up automated alerts for critical events. Establish baseline metrics for normal operation. Remember, ETW is powerful but requires careful configuration. Start small, focus on specific issues, and gradually expand your monitoring as you become more comfortable with the tool. Always consider the performance impact of any tracing you enable, especially on busy domain controllers. Would you like me to elaborate on any specific aspect of ETW in Active Directory environments, or should we explore some practical exercises to reinforce these concepts? Copy. Retry. Oh. Explain the ETW infrastructure. Let me explain the ETW, event tracing for Windows, infrastructure in a way that will give you a comprehensive understanding of how it works. Think of ETW as a highly sophisticated diagnostic system built into Windows, similar to how a modern car has multiple sensors and a central computer that can diagnose problems in real time. Let me break down its core components and how they work together. The three pillars of ETW infrastructure. Controllers. These are like the control center of your diagnostic system. Controllers have two main responsibilities. Starting and stopping trace sessions, like turning diagnostic monitoring on and off. Enabling specific providers to collect data. For example, when troubleshooting an Active Directory replication issue, you might use PowerShell as a controller. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag start a new trace session for AD replication started to trace session name, AD replication. Log file C. /logs/AD replace.etal. Hashtag enable the AD replication provider added a trace provider session name. AD replication. June. 19B4B336D6B74F8488340356254F8A69. Providers. Think of providers as specialized sensors throughout your system. Each provider is designed to monitor specific types of events. They're like security cameras placed at strategic locations, but instead of recording video, they record system events. For instance, the Active Directory provider monitors domain controller operations. The DNS provider tracks name resolution activities. The group policy provider watches policy processing events. A real-world example of working with providers. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag list all available ETW provider slogman query providers. Hashtag get details about a specific provider with total GP, Microsoft Windows Group Policy, /G/GM. Consumers. These are the tools that analyze and present the collected data in a meaningful way. Think of consumers as the analysis software that turns raw sensor data into understandable information. Common consumers include Windows Event Viewer, Performance Monitor, Network Monitor, Custom Analysis Tools. How they work together. Let's walk through a practical scenario of troubleshooting slow AD authentication. PowerShell. Copy. Number 1. Create and start a trace session, controller action. New it to trace session name, auth trace. Log file C. /logs /author etal, hashtag 2. Enable relevant providers added to trace provider session name, auth trace. G, BBA3D94CDD57EB6966B0C4. Hashtag security provider added to trace provider session name, auth trace. GUI. 19B4B336D6B74F8488340356254F8A69. Hashtag AD provider number 3. Reproduce the issue number 4. Stop it to trace session name, auth trace, hashtag 5. Analyze the results using a consumer tracer C:\logs auth.etl OC:\logs analysis.evtx. Important considerations and best practices. Buffer management. ETW uses memory buffers to store events temporarily before writing them to disk. Proper buffer configuration is crucial. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag configure appropriate buffer settings new to trace session name, optimize trace. Log file C:\logs trace.etl. Buffer size 256 hashtag KB per buffermin buffers. 4 hashtag minimum number of buffers max buffers 16 hashtag maximum number of buffers. Performance impact. While EDW is designed to be lightweight, intensive tracing can affect system performance. Use focused tracing instead of enabling all providers. Implement circular logging for long-term traces. Monitor buffer usage to prevent memory pressure. Storage management. EDW logs can grow large quickly. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag set up circular logging with size limits new to trace session name manage trace. Log file C:\logs manage.etl. Max file size 100 megabytes. File mode circular. Security considerations. ETW data can contain sensitive information. Store trace files in secure locations. Implement appropriate access controls. Clean up trace files after analysis. Advanced features. Real-time analysis. ETW supports real-time monitoring through consumers. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag set up real-time monitoring new to trace session name real-time. Log file C. /logs rt.etal. Real-time. Filtering. You can filter events at collection time to reduce noise. PowerShell. Copy. Hashtag add provider with filtering added to trace provider session name, filter trace. GUID. 19B4B366B74F8488340356254F8A69. Level 4 hashtag informational level and above match any keyword 0x1 hashtag only specific event types. Understanding this infrastructure allows you to effectively diagnose system issues, monitor performance, and maintain system health. Would you like me to elaborate on any particular aspect or provide more specific examples?
So as we can see here, this is the answer of Claude, which seems to be a more easy and in depth. Okay, we can see here this is a very good explanation. So this is the ET uh, or Windows logging architecture. So we can see these two are explained. So we can go to the next one, which is Windows logging. Trace events produce log files *.atl. Event logging produce logs files .evtx. This is the two extensions that are concerning events or logs, and they are stored in the event viewer. Let's see Mr. Lo van der Poel, or let's discover Mr. Lo van der Poel or talking about this thing. We have already discovered, or we have discussed all of the things. These two kinds of logs, we have trace logs and event logs. So how we can get these logs? There is a utility called everything. We can get the logs. Okay, this is a way that we can see the location of the logs with the utility called everything, which is a very fast utility in searching through the Windows operating system. This is an open source, I think, or it's a freeware. Okay, we can download it. Here we can download the portable version. I prefer to use the portable version, so if you can use it or put it in a share folder in your network and use it on any PC or any workstation. You can save it, or I can save it here. Okay, we can see I I save it in a folder called the Matrix Lab Final. So just extract it. Now we can run the program. Now we can see the first warning is to run it as an administrator to get or to archive your volumes or your partitions, especially the NTFS volumes. Run as administrator, I prefer to do that. Or install the everything service. I do not prefer this option because it will create a service account that will run the program every time you open it. I prefer to use this one to run as administrator because this service account will be, I think, uh, given local administrator privileges. So I prefer to run as administrator the first one. Requires administrator privilege to index NTFS volumes, to index, to make an index for the volumes, so it will be easier to search for files. Anyway, so I prefer the first one, and actually I am running it with an administrator account. Okay, now the first thing is to search for the first type of logging files, which is AT or ETL files. These are files basically for debuggers. Okay, it contains information concerning programming issues, coding issues. Okay, so normally we do not use this kind of logs. We use the other kind of logs, which is extension is EVTX, which is less in information, and it talks about security issues, users login and login out, general system problems, general application problems, but this we focus on. As for the ETL, this is very specified and technical logging concerning programs of the applications or the operating system. So let's see first how we can search these files. The first thing or the first difference between logs that have extension ETL and the others that have EVTX. ETL, it is distributed along all of the folders in the operating system. So you can see these logs are some of them in the program data, some of them in Windows Service Profiles, so they are not in one place. As for the log files with extension EVTX, they are in one folder, okay, that contains this data. Okay, so let's see where EVTX. As we can see, very fast uh, searching. In milliseconds, we can see all of these files appear in the search. 1442 object. If you try to see EVTX files, we can see that they are, all of them are in a folder in C Windows System 32 when event or Windows event logs. So all of these file extensions are in this folder, and they are basically general information concerning a lot of things: security issues, system issues, application issues, active directory issues. And they are different than the trace log, that they are contain generic data, not as detailed as trace logs. So for example, trace logs, you can use it for boot problems. If you have some boot problems, you can use the trace logs to see the technical details concerning the boot process. Okay, even I think the boot problems are already recorded in EVTX, but this contains generic information. ETL files contain very specific and very detailed information. Okay, so let's continue. So okay, I think we can go and ask ChatGPT. Okay, here if we close this one, what is ETL files and what is EVTX files and the difference between the two, arrange in a table. Okay, let's do that, and Control A, and we can use it. I think we can use the okay, we can use the reasoning one. Okay, here we have something like that. There is no reasoning. Okay, so we can take this question and ask ask Claude. I have already typed or already give him the prompt. If I go to Claude and ask it this question, if we go further more and do like that, I think there is maybe a problem here. If we can make a refresh, and then we can go and ask Perplexity the same question. So I think there is a problem. Maybe I can't seem to get any answer concerning my question. So you can see here ETL and VTX files are both types of log files used in Windows operating system, but they serve different purpose and they have distinct formats. Here are comparison of the two. Full name ETL event trace logs. Here EVTX files Windows XML event logs. This is .etl, this is OVTX, binary format, structured XML format. Purpose: used for performance tracing and diagnostic, used for storing system and application events. Creation: generated by tools like Tracelog and Windows Performance Recorder, generated by Event Viewer or during system events. Data type: contains detailed performance data, including high frequency events related to system performance. Contains structured records of system and application events such as errors and warning. Usage: primarily for developers and IT professionals for diagnosing performance issues. Used by system administrator for monitoring, troubleshooting, and auditing system activity. Viewing tools can be analyzed with tools like Windows Performance Analyzer or Trace Viewer can be viewed by Event Viewer. Event Viewer can see EVTX files and can see ETL files. Okay, summary of differences. Format. ETL files are binary while EVTX files use XML, making EVTX files more human readable. Okay, purpose. ETL file focus on performance diagnostic, while EVTX files log various system events for auditing and monitoring. Creation tools. ETL files are created by tracing tools, while EVTX files are generated by the Windows Event Log service. Okay, the comparison highlights the distinct roles that ETL and VTX files play in Windows logging and diagnostics. So, as we can see here, this is the main differences between these two type of files or logging files, and both are in our situation recorded and stored in the event viewer. Okay, this is the main differences. We will basically focus on VTX, or we normally as IT administrators use this kind of files. If we go to ChatGPT, I think he didn't think there is something concerning the logging process because I was not able to log. Anyway, if we go and see Claude concerning his answer, so again, what is the differences? Let me create a comprehensive comparison table between ETL event trace logs and EVTX event viewer XML. Here, let's see full name event trace log, EVTX event viewer XML. Primary purpose real-time performance data and detailed system tracing. As for EVTX, Windows event logging and system application events. Format binary format optimized for high-speed writing. XML-based structure format created by event tracing for Windows infrastructure. This can be also written by the event viewer. Windows event log service. Typical size can be very large due to detailed tracing, generally smaller, more manageable size. Reading tools, Performance Analyzer, Trace Viewer, Windows Performance Toolkit, Custom ETU, Consumers, Event Viewer, PowerShell, Get Win Event, Third Party, Event Log Viewers. Common location, custom location specified during trace setup. And here is the location of the EVTX, which is in one folder. It's called Win Event Logs. Data capture speed, very fast, designed for real-time tracing. Speed, moderate, optimized for reliability. Primary use cases, performance troubleshooting, driver debugging, low system analysis, network capture, or network packet capture. As for the other is for system administrators, security auditing, application logging, general troubleshooting. Retention, typically temporary, created during troubleshooting. The other long-term storage of system events, data structure, raw performance counters and system events, structure event with metadata. Conversion options can be converted to EVTX using trace, RPT, can be exported to various formats, XML, CSV, and text. So these are the difference between the two. And if we go further, here's a practical example of working with both types. Creating an ETL trace file, logman create trace my trace, so and so. This is how you can initialize an ETL or record an ETL file as converting ETL to EDX, so we can convert ETL to EVTX, and we can read them through PowerShell. Okay, this, or you can read them through the event viewer. By the way, event viewer can see ETL files and can see EVTX files, so you can see both. Okay. Key differences to remind: performance impact. ETL optimized for high-speed capture with minimal system impact. EVTX more overhead but better suited for long-term logging. Okay. Storage consideration. Managing ETL file size. You can customize the site for the ETL file. As for the VTX, we will see later that we can customize the log size for each type of events, like the application events, system events, security events. Data analyze. ETL files require specialized tools but provide deeper system insight. VTX files are easier to read and analyze with built-in Windows tools. So I think this is a good explanation. If we go further and try to see or continue with our video, so we are trying to see the file locations. It is already distributed in a lot of locations, the ATL files. You can see how very fast this tool is. Then I'm trying to ask Copilot if there is any other tools that I can use instead of everything. This is a tool that I use as free for searching Windows. Okay, just to make sure if there is any other tool that I can use instead of everything. So as you can see here, is giving us some of the pros and cons concerning this tool. As we can see, it is fast and require some things. Some of the cons: no full text search, cannot search for email messages, limits the index and the search to file names and paths only. So this is one, or these are three cons for a utility like that. Even though it is fast, but it does not support full text search, it cannot search email files, it gives only the file names and paths. There is no purview for the files through this tool. On other tools, we have X1 Search, we have File Search EX, we have Copernic Desktop Search, Test Seeker, Directory Reports, Silk Safe. So these are a couple of tools, and they are ranked through Copilot. So we can use any one of these, but I think Mr. Low Van der Poel uses everything, so I think it's a good tool and very light. So these are just some other tools to use it for search. I don't know if they are all of them are free or some of them are paid. So here I try to ask it ChatGPT to give me also or ask it the same question. Not ChatGPT, Gemini. Okay, it says the same. Strengths of everything: blazing speed, lightweight, simple interface, advanced search options. Weakness: limited search scope, no network drive or cloud storage search, lacks advanced features like file preview, content search, or integration with other tools. So you can use other tools like search everything, list, try, or something, hound, or something. The other tools you can use to or as an alternative for everything. You can see here a lot of things. So this is just to make sure we have other tools to help us search. So these are all tools. Just I'm exploring different tools to search Windows or Windows content. So if we continue further, see the same, even though so we have already a couple of tools we can use, but we will go with everything tool. So here another thing, how to uh, view uh, the events not through the event viewer but through custom programs like some Nearsoft tools. We have two type of tools, two Nearsoft tools to see the events in the Windows. The first one is called Event Log Providers. As from its name, it will get you the DLL files or the providers for the events. So from the provider you can know what kind of event it will generate. For example, the provider Active Directory or DNS, that means that problems related to DNS will be provided through this provider. This is the one thing. It will get you the providers of the events, and another thing is called full event viewer program. This will display the events in the event viewer in a more organized way. So we can use it as an alternative for event viewer to see the events, ETL or EVTX events. We have two programs, download event log provider view, we will see that in a moment, and other one is called a full event viewer. Okay, let's see that. So we'll go to the Nearsoft. We will download the tool and I will stop after downloading them and let you see how we can use it to explore different events in our system. There is a lot of useful information here or useful tools. First, we will download this. Here is the explanation for it. The tool displays the list of all event log providers on your system. For every event log provider, the following information displayed: provider name, message file 1, message file 2, resource file, parameter file, help link, company, product name, file description, file version. If I show you the program itself, I have already downloaded it. Let me show you the output. If we open that, here you go, and we will go to this one, matrix final, and I have two tools. Here is the provider Windows log. This is not the log, there is something called Windows provider. Here is this one. Okay, and we will run it administrator. Just wait for a moment until it's scan uh, my events. Okay, let's wait for a moment until it finishes. Okay, here you go, do like that. Can download it, just a moment. So here is the, so for example, this is a DLL file. Okay, that is an event provider. It collects data and save it or record it in the event viewer. What is the info about this? This is .NET runtime, so it is related to the .NET events, and this is the program responsible for sending or recording the events and putting in the event viewer. This is the help link. This is the Microsoft Corporation, the one that has already created the file, and product so and so, and this is the file version. So this is very useful to know what are the programs that are responsible for collecting events. This is application error, so this is very simple. From its name we can know what it is. It is application error event provider or collector. So this is it, and this is the name. So it is very useful to know what are the programs that are responsible for recording events. As we can see here, there is a lot actually. Some of them we know, some of them we don't know. For example, BitLocker driver. So this is a DLL file, as we can see here. I think for recording BitLocker events, maybe. Okay, so as we can see here, a lot of events we can use. So this is very, very useful to know which programs are recording or which DLL files are event collectors. Okay, so this is the thing. If we go and try to download it and open it, so here you go, I have already open, but one thing we need to make sure that you have the password, because this file contains a password. We need to put it to extract the file. Okay, so let me go further like that. Here you go, this is the file after extracting it, and then we can see the useful information related to this file. Okay, if we go further like that, so we have a lot of useful programs here in this website, but one of the most important files that we will discuss in the upcoming video, so this is the event providers. We can get it from this file. There is another two programs, let me show you all. So these are the event viewer or event log providers view. There is a couple of programs also downloaded from this website. One of them is event log channels. Okay, we will discuss this in the previous video, something called full event log views. So until I see you the next video, we will discuss these two important programs that are alternative for event viewer. Stay tuned. Hope this video informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.